few times now, down at the Prince of Wales, the pub where I clean, so I thought I'd pay him a visit here, where he was laid to rest. Edward John Fletcher, born 1837, died 1896, in his 58th year. Oh, 58. That's young, isn't it? He was the manager of the Theatre Royal in St Mary's Street, very famous and la-dee-da. Highbrow stuff they put on there, Shakespeare and all sorts of plays, and no drinking or smoking during the performance. Serious stuff, not like your light-hearted music hall numbers. He was in a big legal bust-up with the chap who ran the Grand Theatre of Varieties, the music hall, in Westgate Street. What's his name? Oh yes, Harry Day. That was it. I don't know where he's buried, but I've seen him once or twice at the Gatekeeper, the other pub I clean for. Funny old thing it is that two grand old theatres in Cardiff both ended up as pubs. Anyway, this Harry Day chap, he wanted to get a special licence from the council to put on plays. He wanted his theatre to be a high-class establishment, he said. But old Edward Fletcher here, he wasn't having competition in the next street, so he called in his lawyers, and the long and the short of it was that the music hall had to stick to what it did best. Song and dance and all kinds of weird and wonderful acts. Trained monkeys they had, and acrobats, and mesmerists, ventriloquists, trick cyclists, and even flying children. I suppose you're wondering why it is I say I've met these two chaps who've been dead for years. Well, not met exactly, but I have seen them. My two old buildings both started life as theatres. Then they were cinemas, bingo halls, all sorts, and now they're both pubs. What I believe about these old places is that there's been so much going on, so many people there, talking and arguing, laughing and crying, singing, over all those years. All that life doesn't just go away. I like to think of my pubs as taking every little bit of that energy in, holding it in the walls and the floors, and sometimes reflecting some of it back, like an echo. Yeah, that must be what I've seen and heard when I've been on my own in the big empty bars at night after everyone else has gone home. Echoes. I've seen echoes of the managers like Edward Fletcher and Harry Day having cross words and making speeches. And I've heard the bold as brass singing of the old-time musical songsters like Mary Lloyd. I think she was singing that old favourite, "My old man said follow the van." Do you remember that one? I reckon I even caught sight of her once. Just a glimpse of fancy outfits, lace and feathers faded like. And sometimes I just hear the rumbling chatter of the audience as they wait for the interval to finish. And I smell the tang of the oranges they eat. Ah, Mr. Fletcher, manager of the Theatre Royal Cardiff, here you are. You must have had a good life. You were part of the crack in Cardiff and very matey with the mayor, Mr. S.A. Brain, so I've heard. A connection with beer, even then. And they gave you a good send-off by all accounts with eulogies by famous actors. All the great and the good of South Wales were there. But I'd best be off. I've got another shift coming up. But when I stand by the bar where they say the stage once was, I'll listen out for whispers of those grand old times, those long gone voices.